Like most people, I went down the rabbit hole on Twitter. And by going down this rabbit hole, I learned a lot about the current AI state, where a lot of creators are creating their own apps. They're using vibe coding tools. They're able to launch their own app and get things going in a record amount of time. This is fascinating. You know, I do have a background in digital marketing. I've worked with a lot of developers over the years, and I was just like, I can do this. I can go ahead and I can create my own app. This is possible. Now it's possible, because when I was sitting in the rooms with the developers and they'll talk React and Python and all those things, they lost me. But then I went upon myself to get certified, and I went through that process, and I had a whole new understanding on technology. But now, just now, because of AI, we are able to bypass the learning curve of learning how to code in Python and all these different coding languages by using LLMs, large language models. We're able to cut through that and use tools like Replit. Claude Code is a real good one. In addition to that, you know, like there's so many right now. Bolt, Lovable, which is the biggest player in the game right now. The crazy thing is that you can actually make some quality stuff on there if you're willing to apply yourself. So I put up $1,000, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend $1,000. I'm going to spend $500. It started at $500. That's where it started at. And it quickly ballooned into about $1,400. By the end of this video, it'll be $500, $1,500. But unfortunately, I'm a blessed man. I'm in a position. So as a business owner, I was like, you know what? I need this tool. I need this tool that I want to develop the way I want to develop it, and I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to work on it. What turned into, so I thought was going to be a 4-hour process, skyrocketed into nearly 2 months of working on this app. I'm talking about like 30 minutes a day, some days, won't even work on it for some days. And then in that I would say the last 7 weeks has been intense. It has been 5-hour days, 10-hour days, and even 18-hour days. At the same time, having my baby girl right next to me as I code and work on this app that I say I'm going to build, but it proves to be very complicated. I'm going to tell you about my tech stack. So my tech stack consisted of React. It consisted of Google Cloud. It consisted of Firebase. It consisted of Vercel. I believe I'm saying the name right. I initially started off with Superbase, thinking that, that was the route to go for authentication. But then I quickly found out that that process is not what you think. Like, the thing is like, okay, I had all these different platforms. I'm used to like building the front end, building the design, designing the website, getting everything ready for the company and or launch. This was database. This was back end. This was authentication. This was the most intensive 8 weeks of technology boot camp that I've ever went through. It's been a while. It was intense. But it was one of the best experiences for me, I would say, professionally at this point in my career, of being a digital marketer for the last 16 years and someone who has been in tech for a while and worked with, $100 million companies. And this right here is what I needed to kind of like wake up and see the world as it is in terms of a business level. Because I've always seen business from the perspective of, services, home services. We need to rank them on the first page of Google. We need to put out some YouTube videos, put out some social media ads and all those things. And that was just one way of looking at it. That's more customer facing. SaaS, software as a service, is a whole nother lane. This is the lane of subscription base, building the technology, building the database, building the systems. It's pretty tech heavy, in this new world that we're in, where solopreneurs can really chart their own lane and become, a business entity by themselves. It's phenomenal. Never in history has it been such a great time to be a solopreneur. On the other side of that, there's the AI part. Right? So the AI part is like, hey, I'm going to take your jobs. All your jobs are going to be mine. Gobble them up. But then there's the side of like, okay, fuck, I need to kind of build something because that's where we are right now, because AI is going to take the jobs. The jobs are going to go away. But at the same time, it's like, okay, this is the time for legacy building. This is the time where, as creatives, as business people, as entrepreneurs, we get in the mindset of it's time to build. It's time to build something that is difficult to duplicate, difficult to replicate, but amazing for the consumer, creating value. That's where I'm at. In all these years of running my own e-commerce business that did 7 figures and running other people's companies in terms of their marketing departments, I'm like, dude, I'm finna rebrand. I got my Casey versus the Internet YouTube channel. Now I'm doing this one right here, Casey Decoded with Casey Blaylock. You know, like, it's just time to just put it out there, man, and just share with the world and hopefully be an inspiration to people that want to do their own thing. Because I got my first job at 35 years old, and working on this app made me feel like we are in one of the greatest technological points in history. Anything is possible. Anything. So I say that to say, I know I kind of danced around on a whole bunch of different topics, but as you'll learn with this channel, if you like and subscribe, I'm a pretty multifaceted individual, and I hope to be able to provide some insight and help to people that want to grow their own thing, man. And this app is going to be amazing. You know, I got to go through the whole process of Google Cloud. I had a meeting with Google, sat down with a representative over a Zoom call, and he essentially laid out that, hey, you need to do this in order for the Google Cloud process to work with the app, because the authentication, a lot of developers don't know. And I found out because it was a painful process. The entire process of building this app, fixing this app, literally, I've had over 650 fixes on this app. Like, me personally, made mistakes, got it working, broke it, got it working, broke it. Entire learning process, entire one. And the reason that I chose Firebase was simply because Firebase authentication is critical. So I was using Superbase and trying to make sure I can get the Google login, everything set up. So when you log in, you're able to pull the necessary scopes, put information over, log in to YouTube or log in to whatever Google platform that you're trying to log into, and you're able to pull the information. But the problem is authentication part of the system broke. So struggling and learning how that works has been the major component to all of it, you know. And I'm like, bro, like, hats off to the developers that have been doing this junk for years, man. Like, fortunately, I have a high tolerance for business and the stuff that comes with it. So I'm just like, yo, I'm just going to stick it out, just do what I got to do. But the database aspect was highly complicated because Superbase, amazing product. Superbase just didn't authenticate the way Google wanted the whole process to go. So I was forced to go through Google's process, which was painful, you know, and then learning how Vercel works. Like, I had no idea what that was. So, like, Vercel is essentially hosting. You know, you have your website hosting, you have your database, you have your back end, and you have different systems and mechanisms and configurations that go in place with those, as well as managing, you know, the AI and API systems. It's pretty complicated. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a lot of long nights, bro. A lot of long nights. You got to really want this. Like, this was not an easy app I was trying to build. And so on a level, from what I learned from talking to another developer, a senior developer who I tapped shoulder and kind of like needed some help with, they told me that as an entry level product, like as someone who's just getting started, the project that I have been working on for my SaaS business is on a level out of 1 out of 10 was on a 10. They said they recommended me start at something like at a 5, something simple, you know, a calendar. But in this sense, I went straight into a full stack application, you know, not knowing that it was a full stack application. And it's like spending that money, but then also learning from speaking with other developers by taking the route I took. I was also able to save about $98,000, you know, by just going through that process myself. Like, never in history has it been possible for individuals to be able to build and scale their own apps for less than $20,000. So we're in a rare time, ladies and gentlemen. Rare time. And then I was using Replit, and I didn't have a good experience with that, man. Like, the process with Replit was so complicated. Like, no, it wasn't complicated. It was the pricing. And then their AI agent isn't like good at all, in my opinion. Like, it's not going to tell you, you know, like, essentially you're making certain level of mistakes. It's just going to keep requiring more money and keep asking for more money. So you'll quickly go from a $20 core plan all the way up to, like, in my case, $800 in expenditures when really it wasn't even necessary. So, you know, things like that was just kind of messed up, and the customer service wasn't helpful at all. So I didn't have a good experience with Replit. Amazing product in the sense of you got to know what you're doing when you use it. Because if you're just a vibe coder thinking you're going to make an app for like $25, it's not going to happen.